Hey guys, welcome back to the Friday Vlog where we discuss activity that goes on here with the BuzWeaver channel. That includes things like current events, headlines that are in the news, pop culture, social media, technology, sports, and even entertainment from time to time, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank all of you for your support here on New Tech as well as YouTube, for all of your guys' continued support.
We start things off from human events. Zelensky addresses world, says Russia plans to attack the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced on Tuesday that he is under the impression that Russian forces will destroy the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which is under Russian control. Russia has told staff to leave the plant by July the 5th. That would have been on Wednesday. This recording is on Thursday. Now we have information from our intelligence, Zelensky said on Twitter, that the Russian military has placed objects resembling explosives on the roof of several power units of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. And here we see his tweet from the 4th of July here in the United States, or Independence Day. Perhaps to simulate an attack on the plant, perhaps they have some scenario, but in any case, the world can't but see, that the only source of danger to the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant is Russia and no one else, he continued. So ladies and gentlemen, we have the continuing events happening and unfolding there in Ukraine, and this could be yet another interesting scenario that seems to be happening, placing not only Ukraine, but parts of Europe and maybe the world in danger should the Russians decide to blow up this nuclear power plant and create a nuclear disaster, which would be, of course, extraordinarily hazardous to everyone who lives there, as well as those in NATO and Europe. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, we have seen a lot of bizarre and unusual things happen out of Ukraine. It is difficult and challenging to really understand and know what is accurate and what is propaganda, because so much of it is going on there. And of course, during a war, the truth is always the first victim. And as we see here from the AP, Belarus says Wagner chief who staged mutiny is in Russia, raising questions about Kremlin's strategy. So you may remember that Prigozhin left Bakhmut and was on his way to Moscow as the events were unfolding when he left Bakhmut. And of course, he had a lot of support from the Russian people. And very similarly, and this is just my personal opinion, I believe that the reason he didn't continue marching into Moscow is the elites, of course, that control what all goes on there and allows Putin to be the head of Russia, is very not too dissimilar to here in the United States, where the establishment made sure that Donald Trump was not elected and they have their surrogate president, Joe Biden. So in the same similar scenario, we have elites in Russia who decide who is going to be leader. So here, Belarus AP, the mercenary leader who led a short-lived mutiny against the Kremlin, is in Russia, and his troops are in their field camps. The president of Belarus said Thursday, raising new questions about the deal that ended the extraordinary challenge to President Vladimir Putin's rule. Well, the challenge was that the establishment elite there in Russia, the establishment uniparty, didn't want Prigozhin there. And of course, that's just my opinion, but this is the way it seems to be unfolding. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko claimed not to be independently, well, the claim could not be independently verified, and the Kremlin refused to comment on Prigozhin's whereabouts, but Russia media has reports he was recently seen at the offices in St. Petersburg. So it's difficult to understand sometimes what all is going on, what the strategy is, what the play is, because as you know here on the BuzWeaver channel, we take the difficult, we take the complicated, we take the chaos, we take the tumult, and we try to break it down into the simplest forms we can to get a better understanding of what's going on, particularly when the media frames the way they frame, the media reports the way they report. And as you can see here, we have two disparaging different perspectives and views. What's going on in Ukraine and what Zelensky is claiming Russia is doing. Then we have what Wagner was doing and what Russia was doing. And then, of course, what Belarus was doing, to try to unfold all of this to see what's going on. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, it's always going to be those in power, the behind the power, I guess you could say, the establishment elites that seem to always decide what all is going on. But as far as Prigozhin is concerned, it's very curious to see that he's back in Russia considering. But he did get a lot of support from the people. But of course, the establishment uniparty there in Russia did not want him to be there. They still want Putin there for their particular reasons, just like the establishment uniparty wants Joe Biden as president right now, where he is, until they decide they no longer need Biden, and maybe they'll pursue him as they did with Donald Trump. But of course, they are politically persecuting Donald Trump at the moment. But nonetheless, guys, what's unfolding there in Ukraine is not too dissimilar to what's unfolding here when it comes to the political perspective and the way things are going either one way or the other. But nonetheless, guys, that's what I had for you this Friday.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this Friday vlog. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the comments. All of your guys' support on New Tech as well as here on YouTube. And of course, below this video, you can find the various Amazon links to products that I have on there, as well as using it as your landing page if you're a Prime user or order frequently from Amazon. All your orders help out the channel, and it's greatly appreciated. All right, guys, so appearing there on the screen, that would be the channel icon for all of you here on YouTube. You can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notifications. And I'll see all you guys next week behind the Galaxy phone camera next week.